This is it. This morning I left Standish Hickey State Recreation Area, headed for the infamous Leggett Hill, which may prove to be a non-event. Sunday morning, the 4th or something like that of October, and traffic is light. Got about a mile before I get into Leggett and turn off of Highway 101 onto Route 1. The sign right after I left the campground read, "Bicycles may use the full lane," and I certainly plan to take advantage of that tactic. Okay, we've got 3.5 miles on today's odometer, and we're starting to climb. So I should reach the top at about 8.5 miles. I did manage to stop at the Leggett Mercantile and pick up some cinnamon buns, the entire pack, to power me to the top. Hard to believe that I went this long without a cinnamon bun, but here, 1 mile into the Leggett Hill, I'm gonna bust open that pack. A mile and a half into the climb. Not bad at all so far, but as some might say, we're not over that bridge yet. At 3 miles into the climb, I have passed out of the narrow band of clouds. I'm now above the clouds. 2 miles to go. Really a nice, peaceful climb on smooth pavement. I stopped for a break here, thinking that I've got 1 mile left in the climb, and Ride with GPS says that I'm just about at the top of the hill, so that's usually not the way that it works. It's usually more mileage than what's anticipated, so I've just leveled out, maybe a false summit, maybe another cinnamon roll before I start down the other side. Well, folks, the oft written about and oft talked about Leggett Hill this morning proved to be the proverbial nothing burger. Actually a beautiful winding climb up through lovely forest. Now, after a flat stretch, I'm looking at the sign that tells me that we're about to start the descent. I remember climbing this hill in the opposite direction from what I'm going today years ago, and in the distance hearing a motorcycle coming at fairly high speed, and then just around the corner out of sight of us we heard the sound of a motorcycle at too high speed for the corner, laying down on the road and going over the bank on the side. We came around the corner, and fortunately the motorcycle rider was okay. He was picking himself up off the side of the road, but down over one of these steep banks here, like what you might see on the right, his motorcycle was quite a bit down below. He was seemingly more embarrassed than anything else, and when we rolled up on our bicycles climbing in the opposite direction and asked if everything was okay, he was anxious for us to get on his way, or our way, and let him be with his dilemma and his hurt pride, and figuring out how to get his motorcycle back up over that bank. But as I'm riding down here today, I can't help but look at the banks and wonder which one it was that that motorcycle careened over. That brief moment of sunshine felt so good. That descent was probably the coldest I've been on this entire trip. There we go. Sunshine, warmth. And as I came around the corner into the sunshine, I started to smell the ocean. Seems like I've been away for a long time, but I've re-emerged back coastside after enjoying a few lovely days through the redwoods. It's nice to be back into full sun here on the coast. Coffee and a little bit of sugar should get me through the next 17 miles, don't you think? I chose a table with a view. Not bad being back here on the coast and enjoying the warm sunshine on my back. So far it's been a little challenging getting video of this section of coast while riding. I'm either in my granny gears or coasting quickly down a hill. Now the fog is rolling in off the coast. Last I had paid attention to it, it was quite a bit offshore, but it comes in quickly. What an abrupt change in the scenery. Sign says coastal view. Not at this moment. Now this is different. I'm loving these trees. Got to find out what they are. Seem to be pretty common through here. Good morning. This is Monday, October something. I'm not even going to try and guess the date anymore, but I'm just about to leave the state park here at McCarricher State Park, where I spent last night in actually the smallest of the hike and bike areas that I've encountered so far along the route. I had a good night's rest and ready for another day of rollers up and down the coast here. Before that, however, I've picked out a breakfast spot in Fort Bragg, which is 3 miles down the path. And I say path because from McCarricher State Park is what's known as the Old Hall Road, which has been turned into a walk-bike path. Although it's a road width, it runs right along the shore. I'm here at first light, hoping to catch some good images along the coast while headed to breakfast here on the trestle bridge that I had read about. Interesting crossing. And beautiful first light over the ocean. The bridge is one of those places where it seems that people come to put locks for loved ones along the cables strung along the railings. So there's hundreds and hundreds of those. Mendocino Headlands State Park. Pulling up to this point in Mendocino State Park. The smell was very distinctive. And there it is, the rookery. pelican rookery was totally unexpected. I knew that there was a view here in the park and turned into it for that. It's off the main route, but this rookery came as a complete surprise. Great surprise. A beautiful morning. Mendocino. I remember coming through here before and finding it to be one of the most expensive places on the coast. It looks like it's still that way today. Elk. It's the name of the town. Did stop at the Elk store, which I think is my last visioning possibility before camp tonight. Good morning. This is Tuesday, October 7th, and I'm standing here this morning at Manchester Beach, which is probably 70 miles-ish north of San Francisco and Golden Gate. It is a beautiful, clear morning. Behind me, I don't know if I've caught it in the frame, you can see the full moon setting into the Pacific, and to the south of me, I'm not sure what the light is, but that's flashing out on the point. Might simply be called Manchester Point, but it's just a clear, crisp, beautiful morning here. I spent the night last night in Manchester Beach State Park, which was closed for the season, and I just kind of slipped in at the end of the day and did the minimum impact camping, and slipped on out before daylight. It is a beautiful morning. I'm waiting a little bit longer here, and we'll try and capture some still photos of that moon setting behind me, and then move on to Point Arena. I've found what looks like a good spot for breakfast at a place called the Rollerville Cafe. So that may be suggesting what the road ahead is like, more of these California coastal rollers, and the cafe may very well be in the middle of a climb or two. So let me grab some still pictures and we'll catch up later in the day. I've got to find out what kind of trees these are. Some kind of a cedar perhaps. They very common, it seems, along the roadside. Beautiful. This area through here, last several miles, has apparently burnt fairly recently. I saw some of the burns leading right down to homes that were, in some cases, also burned. It's also an area of, well, starting to get into exclusivity, and the coast is largely blocked off from the public by all of these gated properties and no trespassing signs, and dropping down into the town of Gualala. Ought to be able to find groceries here. Breakfast this morning in Gualala at a sweet little Mexican cafe. One of the few options in this town of 2,000, but it looks just perfect. I'm sure the food is good. The coffee is. More beans and rice with chorizo. Power me through. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, October 8th, and I have managed to escape the campground from hell here in Gualala, the Gualala Point State Park nightmare, which started signaling itself by being a little too tightly packed and a very large group of very loud folks setting up for an evening of partying next to me. Then, as darkness fell, the real entertainment began, and that was the time when the raccoons moved in. It was just dozens of them. I first noticed them on the picnic table of the camp next to me, the loud partying group that were off at the beach, as these raccoons were just ripping apart everything and helping themselves to guacamole and chips and the evening dinner. They didn't seem to bother the beer, but soon after, as it got darker, the raccoons became more aggressive and started in on every campsite. The partying group next to me, when they returned, they discovered their campsite ransacked, and after assessing the damages, went off to find more food to replace what they had lost. So anyhow, here I stand this morning outside of the campground. I backtracked into Gualala and ate breakfast at a sweet little Mexican cafe. Went to the grocery store, got groceries for the evening, and now I'm headed south to the recommended campground. It's called Stillwater Cove, and I'm hoping to get there early in the day and just find a place to enjoy a little bit of quiet down by the ocean. Off we go. I'll catch up with you later in the day. This is one of the few views that I've been able to enjoy of the coast today. It's just the way of things, isn't it? Up go the posted signs. Now that I've gotten past that horrific sea ranch development, things have started to open up a little more and becoming more enjoyable. Down the trail to Stillwater Cove. Beautiful forest here at the bottom of this gully. Just a lot of micro ecosystems existing in these little pockets of moisture. There comes a point on virtually every trip that I've ever done where the mindset changes from, looking ahead to the days to come and starts to look more and more in a reflecting way, thinking back on the travels. It's been a day of a little bit of grayness, both in the weather that's over the coast at the moment, and also the mood as the trip is coming to a close. Fortunately, once I hit the Salt Point State Park property and now Stillwater Cove property, the land on the coast is still in the public domain and hasn't been radically altered with these homes that are essentially just built clinging to the sides of cliffs, facing out to sea, waiting for the next natural disaster to sweep them away and for the American public to foot the bill to rebuild. That whole monstrosity of, on the map it shows as a town sea ranch, but it's essentially a giant residential construction project called Sea Ranch. Stillwater Cove State Park was exactly what I needed. The campground, the hiker-biker area are just what I've been hoping for, and this quiet little cove tucked away, although still within earshot of Route 1, is the perfect place to unwind and reflect and think about the final day of riding down the Pacific coast tomorrow morning. Good morning. This is Thursday, October 8th, and this is the beginning of my last day of this ride along the coast. I headed out from Stillwater Cove campground this morning, and cloudy skies, and it looks like a little bit of climbing ahead, and hopefully the traffic is kind and the views are nice, and the geese are all flying south overhead, and so am I. So I'll check in later in the day. This morning it's a little before 8, and the pretty much the only traffic on Route 1 right now is construction vehicle activity. Just saw a concrete pump truck pass by, and dump trucks, and lots of contractor trucks, and everybody rushing north to build where they shouldn't. I made an unexpected stop this morning here at Fort Ross. It's a California State Historical Site, and also the site of a former Russian village. Although I, in this quiet morning stop, didn't learn much about the history of Fort Ross, it certainly is a site that piques the curiosity. Would have been nice to have a little bit more sunshine peeking through, but I'll take what I can get today. It's amazing the difference in this day's coastline compared with yesterday's. This one pretty much all protected from development along the Sonoma County coast here. is quite a spectacular place. I've stopped here at a incredible spot, well removed from Highway 1 and all to myself. I'm only 5 miles from my final resting place along the coast before turning inland, and I am really trying to slow things down. The skies were cloudy when I started the day, and some fog along the coast, but it looks like while I'm preparing my lunch here, the clouds may give way to sunshine, and I'm seeing a good bit of blue poking through, and some good photo ops, and just a nice fitting way to close out this trip down the coast. I'm only 5 miles from the Bodega Dunes campsite that I plan on spending tonight at, so another 30 minutes of riding. It's a little afternoon, no rush. I'm going to enjoy this lunch, even though it's simple, basic biker fare of ramen noodles and a can of tuna fish. It's going to taste awfully good. In stark contrast with yesterday's horrific development up at Sea Ranch, this section of the Sonoma coast is pretty much all in state park land, and there's public access after public access, and a stop before heading to camp for a little celebratory camp food. Little easy little thing, cosmic little thing, and some chips. Good morning. This is Friday, October 10th, and it is my final day of riding on this coastal tour, and in just less than a mile I'll be leaving the coast behind and heading inland to finish up the trip at a friend's house in Sebastopol. I've got 17 miles to ride from here. It's, kind of a sad moment, as the end of all trips tends to be, as you just don't quite want to leave it behind. And it's been a remarkable tour, and I can't wait to do some post processing of it, and do some video review of the gear that I'm carrying, and how I selected my routes, etc., logistics, costs, all of that will be upcoming. So for now, it's ride on into Sebastopol and pack up the bike to get it shipped back to Vermont.